First things first, y'all. David Hogg. I feel like I don't have to explain to y'all who David Hogg is, but you might not know that he was actually made a member of the DNC committee. He was elected rather, the vice chairman of the DNC committee, which was kind of weird. Not gonna lie to you. I thought it was weird because like usually they make you pay your dues, but you know, I've always felt like David Hogg was an intelligence community cutout, and it was pretty obvious that he was being uplifted into the position that he was in. So like, was I surprised that he got a high level? I mean, he got basically they held his hand into Harvard admissions. He got through Harvard admissions and immediately is placed near the top of the party without paying his dues as one is traditionally expected to pay. So apparently he got too big for his britches. Maybe he was one of those people who thought like, if I play the game long enough, then I can enact the change that I would actually want to see, and I can say the things that I actually want to say once I get in the position I want to get in. And he learned, like everybody eventually learns, that's not how the Democratic Party works. The Democratic Party, contrary to popular belief, is not synonymous with democracy or anything democratic. So we're going to watch this video of him reacting to being potentially ousted from the DNC right after he got elected. And then we're going to check out an article really quick as to how the corrupt process, honestly, that they're going to try to use to get him out. Like, share. Like the video, share the video. Subscribe if this is your first time here. Bing bong. And y'all let me know, of course, that y'all can hear this.
On the woman who attacked you because you beat her at that job. Did you beat her fair and square? Was there any fire there?
There was the election that the DNC held, and I was the person that was one of the people that won one of the 3 positions that they had for the at-large vice chairs.
So what was her claim?
Part of the claim, so not to bore people, but to get into the bureaucracy of the DNC, we have a gender balance rule at the DNC because, of course, we do.
Okay. See, right away.
By the way, the Republican Party does too. If the chair is a male, then the vice chair has to be a female.
Well, what's interesting is that's even more progressive than our vision, which is that the chair doesn't count towards the gender balance rule that we have. Frankly, I don't even know if it makes sense for us to have the gender balance rule anymore in this day and age, because I want to focus on whoever's just best at the job.
Great.
At this point, that's my own view.
Terrific.
And, you know.
By the way, I support what you're doing with respect to the primaries, because I can tell you, having been in politics for quite a while, I started as an intern for McCain, some of these people don't know when it's time to go.
They don't.
Chuck Schumer has been in elected office for 50 years. 1974.
Did y'all hear Bill Maher in the background, like, complaining? Like, he was, like, grumbling just now. And it was weird because I guess he didn't know that the mic would pick up on it because, you know, they had, like, the people control whose mic you can hear, who you can't. And he's grumbling when he says that people don't know when to leave. Like, this isn't a true statement. Listen.
Chuck Schumer has been in elected office for 50 years.
Did y'all hear it? Did you hear it? Bro, Bill Maher is such an ass.
1974, he was first elected. 50 years. AOC will absolutely kick his ass in a primary. She is the leader of the Democratic Party in this moment. And will continue to be, I think, the biggest driver.
Okay, so I just want to be clear about something. That part I do not agree with. So she maybe could beat Chuck Schumer in a Senate race. Maybe. That part is believable. I just don't really believe, like, if it would be close. And because it would be close, I'm pretty sure Chuck Schumer will win. Because, like, New York City does not make up the entirety of New York State. And people sometimes tend to forget that. Even though it is a blue state, up north is way more conservative. And they're not going to be as wowed by AOC's literal just words. It's all it is. It's just a bunch of words. They're not going to be as wowed. And you don't, like, think about it. How often do you see her doing rallies, for example, in upstate New York? She might do rallies like like Westchester and shit like that. Like, but that's not like upstate New York, like Watertown, New York, or Buffalo, New York. There's a reason for that, right? Like, she wouldn't win that. I don't believe that. And also, she's not the leader of the Democratic Party. She can't even get on committees she wants. And whenever they asked her why she wouldn't rerun for that committee seat, basically, she admitted like she didn't want to build up a record of losing within her own party because it would reveal her frailty and how much power she actually doesn't have. So like, yeah, you can raise a lot of money, but like Bernie Sanders raises a lot of money too. Is he the leader of the Democratic Party? Has he been the leader of the Democratic Party? No. Being a lead fundraiser in today's world is very easy. All you gotta do is say the right things. That does not make you the leader of the party. In fact, I would make an argument for the Democratic Party. It is the person who can fail the most and have the least amount of consequences while still mandating who does what in the party. Because that's basically how it's worked. Fundraising doesn't mean shit when it comes to who actually runs the party. So just to clarify, I don't know, because this guy says he's been in politics for a long time, and I'm judging him a little bit because that statement, that's not true. It's just not true, guys. Sorry, she doesn't run the party.
Of where the party goes from a governmental policy standpoint, and that drives many of my colleagues crazy. But the fact is, she has tapped into the base of support within the Democratic Party, and you see the juxtaposition between her and Chuck Schumer. I'm writing a strongly worded letter. Oh, sit the fuck down, Chuck. It's time. Right.
Okay. So my question for that person would be, what juxtaposition? Because I'm writing a strongly worded letter is literally AOC's entire policy platform. Am I wrong for saying that? Am I misreading the last, I don't know, 4 to 8 years of AOC? Strongly worded letter could be the title of her autobiography. She don't do shit but write strongly worded letters. She don't win she don't win senior committee seats. She can't even help other people win anymore. And she couldn't help Jamal Bowman retain his seat in New York. And you think that she could beat Chuck Schumer? Think about that. She couldn't help Jamal Bowman retain his seat in New York, but she can beat Chuck Schumer. Okay. Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't like Chuck Schumer. But my point is, like, y'all are grossly overestimating AOC's ability to win. And I feel like it's already going, I feel like it's going to bite y'all in the ass. I can see it coming. We're all predicting it. We're already predicting, like, and y'all are going to be so surprised when she doesn't win. Once again, y'all going to be like, damn, I guess the world wasn't ready for AOC. No, AOC was never ready for the world. We made our demands clear, and she decided she wanted to keep pretending to be a leftist, pretending to be a populist, pretending to be on the side of the working class. And we kept saying, we ain't falling for your pretend bullshit. So I just want to be clear. We're calling it now. Y'all keep pretending like AOC gonna win, and we gonna keep looking the other way and pretend like y'all ain't full of shit. We already told y'all. We already told y'all. We just want to look over here now, and we're gonna get to mutual aid funding and organizing because we already had this conversation with y'all. Y'all didn't want to hear it, so here we are.
That's why you won.
Yeah.
In that district that you, that's why you won.
Purple as they come.
Well, right, because the people, they didn't want to vote for Donald Trump, but they're not out there on the far left either.
No.
Right?
They want balance. They want common sense. They want people.
Of course, Bill Maher would say that.
Who are serious about getting the job done. For my district, my biggest issue, lifting the cap on salt and providing real tax relief to people. Protecting critical services like Medicaid. And we're...
Anyway, so it's just, this man had nothing to add to that. Bill Maher's such a fucking tool. This is why I was laughing with Russell the other day from Due Dissonance. Whenever I had the realization that like Bill Maher had to take a break from his show because the writers went on strike, and I put 2 and 2 together. I'm like, wow, so he actually can't even do a fucking show without his writers. That explains a lot. It really does. Let's check out this article real quick. Talking about this this beef that Mr. Hogg has with the party. So y'all know that he actually has been willing to call out genocide, so I will commend him for that. He has been willing to call out neoconservative policies that the Democrats have supported, so I will applaud him for that. But there's a dichotomy of time where he refused to acknowledge what the Democrats were doing, how the Democrats contributed to all these problems that we're dealing with today. And then when he got elected as a DNC vice chair, then he got bold. And of course, now he's paying for that. But my point is, even if he's being bold right now, it's calculated. I don't buy it. He is aware that being treated as a pariah within the Democratic Party will make him, at least on social media and amongst Gen Z, more popular and help him build his brand. I just want to be clear. Just because he's saying and doing the right thing does not mean he is well-intentioned. So just so we're clear. Now, some people will confuse that. Some people, they'll say, well, why we should be celebrating when he says the right thing. Yeah, okay, cool. He says some cool things, but at the same time, intentions do matter, because intentions will, if the intentions are not pure or altruistic, or at least with the goal in mind in furthering the progress amongst the working class, then he will do the next convenient thing. And if it's convenient to stab the working class in the back, he will do so. So yeah, I don't care if you say the right thing if your intentions are shit, basically. Especially when you don't have any power to actually enact anything. It's not like he can do anything. So his intentions, the intentions behind what he says, are important. This is Parkland survivor David Hogg to be ousted from the DNC following investigation into his election. Yeah, I know, that's hilarious. Hogg, 25 years old, rose to national prominence after surviving the mass shooting of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, February 14, 2018. I do want to say, surviving the shooting, that, in David Hogg's case, we're still trying to confirm that. We cannot confirm or deny whether he survived the shooting, but we do know that he did go to that school at some point. I want to be clear about that. A Democratic National Committee panel has found that gun control activist David Hogg and a colleague were not properly elected to be among its 5 vice chairs earlier this year, paving the way for their removal. It's really convenient. Hogg, 25 years old, rose to national prominence after surviving the mass shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Allegedly. He allegedly was there when the shooting happened, allegedly, on February 14, 2018. And he co-founded March for Our Lives. I just want to say, I don't find it coincidental that the last surviving face, if you will, of March for Our Lives is the mediocre white guy with no upper lip whose dad is in the FBI. And no one has proof that he was actually in the school at the time. And everyone was literally predicting that he would be in this position at this point in his life, because it was always meant for him to be in this position and have this level of prominence. Just feel like we should probably mention that part, because March for Our Lives was a group, and people had said back then that he just kind of finessed his way into the group. Next thing you know, he was the face of the group. Then the next thing you know, we didn't hear from anybody else in the group. He the last one. And everyone said back then, the people who were really paying attention, yeah, we see where this is going, Mr. Asset, but whatever. So he has since become a vocal political commentator, critical of President Donald Trump and the Democratic Party's failure to earn the trust of the electorate. That second part came later. It didn't come during the Biden presidency, or else, personally, I probably wouldn't be so critical of him. Timing matters. Hogg made waves last month by announcing that his new organization, Leaders We Deserve, co-founded with Kevin Latta, the former campaign manager for Florida Representative Maxwell Alejandro Frost, the first Gen Z member of Congress, intends to support primary challengers out of touch ineffective House Democrats occupying safe congressional seats that it believes have not done enough to oppose the Trump administration. So, man, let's just say if I was somebody trying to jumpstart an organization, bring attention to this organization, fundraise for this organization, maybe I would do what AOC did whenever she was trying to rise to prominence. When she was Queen Clapback, tweeter in chief, if you will, being adversarial with the Democratic Party, but not in a way that's efficacious, not in a way that actually moves us forward, only adversarial when it's convenient, only on social media or only in interviews, but never actually substantively challenging the Democratic Party in any way that would benefit us or that could permanently harm her career. And she gets a lot of money because of that, as far as Congress is concerned, like congressional fundraising is concerned. Never does anything for us, but gets a lot of money, right? She's also helped other organizations, progressive organizations, raise a lot of money. David Hogg, there's a lot of things, but that boy ain't stupid. He sees an opportunity when it arrives, and he's good at marketing himself. I mean, he just ended up on Bill Maher after they were made aware that he's about to be ousted. So it's like, since when? Since when does Bill Maher bring on people who are genuinely adversarial to the Democratic Party in a way that benefits like, if he does bring them on, he's like arguing with them the whole time. So, just saying. And what has already been interpreted as an attack on that strategy, the DNC's Credentials Committee on Monday upheld a complaint brought by Oklahoma activist Kaylin Free, who lost out on one of the vice chair positions on the February 1st elections, and subsequently accused the DNC of breaking its own rules on gender diversity, potentially invalidating the elections of Hodge and Malcolm Kenyatta. I will tell you, as a co-founder of the DNC fraud lawsuit, reading this, the only reason I'm laughing is so I don't start cussing everybody out. Because all of a sudden, I'm reading according to this, the Democratic Party actually does care about breaking its own rules and feels the need to correct the issue of breaking its own rules now in 2025 when it's time to oust David Hogg. Whenever we were suing the shit out of them with the DNC fraud lawsuit, they didn't give a damn about following the rules. In fact, no, their exact words were, they don't need to follow their own charter because they wrote it and they can do what they want to. They can break the rules. They can select candidates in a smoke-filled room behind closed doors, and no one can do anything about it. That was what they said. But now that they want to use, now that they want to use those rules to oust David Hogg, well, now we have to be upright, upstanding citizens and make sure that we follow our DNC charter. It's the hypocrisy from all sides, bro. That's what's killing me. That's what's killing me. Because I do want to be frank. Like, if they thought that David Hogg was an op, like was the opposition really, like true opposition, they would have never allowed him to be the vice chair to begin with. Now they feel like he's a problem, and so they're dealing with the problem. You see what I'm saying? Like, if they always have a way to make sure you don't get in the position where you can influence outcomes, whether it's beforehand because you showed them who you were too soon, or after the fact because you've revealed who you were. Like, it don't matter if you have a secure. Ask Cynthia McKinney. Ask Cynthia McKinney. Cynthia McKinney didn't lose her congressional seat. It was taken away from her. That's what AOC is worried about, to be completely honest with you. That's what a lot of people get worried about. Like, there's no such thing as a safe district when people can literally just take your district from you and take the voters out of the matter. So, a full DNC vote will now be held on the committee's findings, which could mean new elections being staged. That's a perfect word to use, staged, because they're probably going to be bullshit elections, with the same 5 candidates, including Hodge and Kenyatta, on the ballot once again. While this vote was based on how the DNC conducted its officers' elections, which I had nothing to do with, it is also impossible to ignore the broader context of my work to reform the party, which loomed large over this vote. Hodge responded in a statement. And to that I will say, or rather, or will let Sabby Sabs say exactly how I was feeling when I read that statement. Oh, hold on. What we say to that, Sabby? What did I tell you? There is no reforming this party. There is no reforming the Democratic Party. Not to mention, I think I speak for all of us when I say, bro, we way past reform when it comes to anything. But specifically when it comes to the Democratic Party, there is no reforming fascists. There is no reforming a party that is okay with genocide. I don't understand what's so hard to comprehend about that. Imagine finding out your friend's a serial killer, because that's basically what the Democratic Party is guilty of at this point. It's political serial killing. Imagine finding out your friend's a serial killer, and you like, but I can save him. Oh, you know what? Y'all know that show You, with the stalker? That I haven't seen all of it. I've seen parts of it because my wife watched it. But I saw the first season. I saw enough to be like, this is nuts. And then I saw enough towards the end where literally you got people who think that they can change this man from being a fucking serial killer. And I'm thinking to myself, bruh, am I missing parts of this show or something? Did something happen? Why do people think that they can change this man? I could be the one to fix him. You know, there are always girls that like that. There's always girls who think they can fix a bad boy, but like, this dude's a serial killer. Okay? He kills serially. He has a serial number on his murders and deaths that he causes. Okay? That's what the Democratic Party is. Once you are okay with genocide, and like, think about that whole that 4-minute segment. No one even brought up the genocide. Like, how can you have a conversation with about the Democratic Party, about the fact that they lost, right? The fact that they lost the House too, the fact that Kamala lost, the fact that Joe Biden was extremely unpopular before he left, the fact that Michigan made it clear that they voted against him against her because of the genocide. That a lot of people made it clear that they voted against them because of the genocide. And you're like, yeah, but we're not going to have a conversation about this. Bro, damn near every conversation you have should be about how the hell y'all going to make up for financing a genocide. And to be frank, I don't think there's really a conversation you can't have. There's not really any justification I mean, you would have to take literally everybody out the party, bro. Like everybody. Anyone who was in any official position within the Democratic Party and didn't speak up about the genocide, like you better have receipts on receipts on receipts. Didn't say names, didn't call out Joe Biden directly, didn't call out Kamala Harris directly. Anyone, you gotta take all of them out, which would basically mean that it's not the Democratic Party anymore, which is cool with me. But when you still have people in official positions that was okay with genocide, you have serial killers in your party. There is no reforming a serial killer. You feel me? David, that's where you went wrong. You thought that you could reform serial killers. Zionists, psychopaths, who have no moral compass whatsoever. Who looked at us dead in our face and was like, man, what y'all talking about? Joe Biden, that man he has the clarity of a 19-year-old college grad. Like, no. That boy is deteriorating in front of the entire world, and y'all are really gonna act like it's not happening? And then gonna gaslight us 2-3 years later and be like, what you talking about? We always knew he was his mental state was deteriorating. What? Come on, bro. That's the party you want to reform. But like I said, probably was a great opportunity for him to fundraise. I'm sure that his little his little NGO, his little nonprofit, probably doing pretty well right now, huh? So was it really about reforming a party? Was it really about building up a political movement? Or was it about finding his next grift? Hey, look. I know AOC, she's dumb. Politically, she's not all that astute. But like when it comes to raising money, she did put out a little blueprint for everybody. And them generations, them Gen Z kids, they picking up.